Good morning. Akshay Patil, please keep your video off.
Yes, Ajinkya, Shantanu, Chaitali, and Shivani, you have any questions? Ajinkya? Ajinkya Lodha, do you have any questions? You have raised your hands.
No, sir, a mistake it happened.
Okay, so please lower your hands. Shantanu and Chaitali, please lower your hands if you don't have any questions.
सब ऑन करके रख दीजिए अभी बिल्कुल ऑपरेट में। ओके सर, बेस्ट ऑफ लक।
Sandesh Vite, please keep your video off. Sandesh Vite. All the students are hereby requested to please keep their video and mic off. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a request. Can you opt the setting which then we can't unmute without permission? Can you opt that setting? Because many mics are getting on, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, then it creates disturbance.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the suggestion.
Hello. Has the session started? I can't see anything. I can't hear anything apart from the students' voices.
Hello, the session has yet not started.
मेरे इस पे म्यूट नहीं है सर अनम्यूट हूँ मैं गेस्ट आले गेस्ट आले अच्छा मेरा मेरा ये है
Sandesh Vite, please keep your video off.
Vishaka, please start the program.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Greetings to one and all present here. I, Vishaka Jaiprakash Tanvi, from BLLB second year, TMV's Lokmanya Tilak Law College, extend a very warm welcome to our today's guest speaker, Honorable Justice Shri K.K. Gule sir, Joint Civil Judge, Junior Division, Panvel, to our today's webinar organized by a prestigious institution, TMV's Lokmanya Tilak Law College. Our guest speaker, Honorable Justice Shri K.K. Ghule sir, will enlighten us on the topic Prohibition of Child Marriage. So before we go ahead with today's session, I would like to mention certain instructions to be strictly followed by all the students throughout the session. That is, it is requested to all the students to kindly keep their video and mic off during the session so as to avoid any kind of disturbance. Also, it is a kind request to all the students to please type their questions in the chat box and we shall be taking the same at the end during the question and answer round so that the program be conducted in a smoother manner and there shall be no interruption. I would now take the privilege and request our principal, Dr. Prakash Deshmukh sir, to kindly begin with today's program by welcoming our guest speaker. Please, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, sir, just a few minutes. Deshmukh
Okay.
sir.
Uh,
Deshmukh sir. You're not audible, sir.
Vishaka, just wait a minute. He
Yes,
will
sir.
be joining.
Yes, sir.
Please, sir. I, Dr. Prakash Krishna Rao Deshmukh, Principal of TME's Lokmanya Tilak Law College, Kharghar Taluka, Panvel, Jilla Raigad. Honorable Sri K.K. Gule sir, Joint Civil Judge, Junior Division, Panvel. Today's webinar chief guest and speaker of this webinar. Honorable Dr. Deepak J. Tilak sir, President, Chancellor of Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapith. Honorable Dr. Mrs. Praniti Rohit Tilak, Madam, our Kharghar campus mentor. Learned Mahesh Logaonkar sir, our Kharghar campus in charge. Learned Mrs. Varsha Badwe, Madam, coordinator of this institute, and assistant professors and dear students. Our Maharashtra Vidyapith TMV, situated in the year 1921, is recognized by the Government of India as the deemed to be university under Section 3 of UGC Act 1956 since 1987. We offer the programs in multiple disciplines such as Ayurveda, Sanskrit, social science, moral science, occupational skills, management, health science, law and distance education. TME's Lokmanya Tilak Law College was established in the year 2013 and approved by the Bar Council of India for BA LLB 5 years, LLB 3 years. Courses are offered. In it, pursuant of the excellence, our institution aims at not only the professionalism but also the ethical values and social responsibility. And hence, the curriculum is the design to the boundaries of the academics to be relevant to the changing corporate and social requirements. In coming semester, we are organizing trial court, police station, jail visit, and high court visit to get the practical legal knowledge to our students. We are also organizing the webinars on the different topics by high dignitaries, that is experts in the subject, that such as Consumer Protection Act 2019, Criminal Administration, Right to Information Act 2005, etc. A heartiest welcome to our today's speaker, Honorable Sri K.K. Gulesar, Additional Civil Judge, Junior Division, Panvel, District Writer. I welcome to our Honorable Deepak J. Tilak, sir, President, Chancellor of our Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapith, and our Kharghar campus mentor, Honorable Dr. Mrs. Praniti Rohit Tilak, Madam. Then Mahesh Logavkar, sir, our Kharghar campus in charge. Beloved Principal Dr. K.K. Sriram Chandra Murthy, sir, Head of the Pune Law Department. Learned Coordinator, Mrs. Varsha Barve, Madam. All my beloved assistant professors, staffs, and dear students. Thanking you. Thank you, Vishacha. Proceed.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very lucky to have Honorable Justice Shri K.K. Gule sir as a guest speaker for our today's webinar. With this, I would now take the privilege and request our today's guest speaker, Honorable Justice Shri K.K. Gule sir, to kindly enlighten all of us by commencing with today's session. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, Vishaka. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Shall we start with the subject?
Yes, please, sir.
So today's subject is the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. Before we start with the provisions or scheme of the statute, I would like to mention the brief history of the object or purpose for which we felt the this enactment. As we know, there were so many traditional practices which were not useful in the present prevailing situation of our society. Law is a dynamic concept which always keeps changing, taking into account the present situation. So today's subject is very much in relation to the rights of the woman. When we are talking about woman empowerment, one of the
Sir, voice is not clear.
Yes. Gule sir, can you please use your headphones so voice will be more clear over there?
Okay. Just a minute. आपल्याकडं wire. Hello.
Yes, sir. Now it is clearly audible.
Now it is clear.
Okay. So the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, the name of the statute itself is sufficient to give the idea of object and purpose for which the statute is came into existence. The important object is to prevent the solemnization of child marriage, because marriage of the girl in a childhood or in a, who is not completed the minimum age of the marriage as which is prescribed by this statute, it certainly affects her social economic condition, as well as it will amount to social, physical, mental, and all kind of abuse and discrimination. So to eradicate all these misfortunes, this act is there. So I am starting with the provisions of this act. This statute run into total 21 sections. So first of all, we have to consider the definitions which are given in section 2, wherein meaning of child is given. Child means a person who is, if a male has not completed 21 years of age, and if female has not completed 18 years of age. So for in the context of present act, this meaning of child is given as 21 and 18 years respectively, as a male and a female. This is the minimum age prescribed for the performance solemnization of marriage. What is meant by child marriage? Child marriage, it means the marriage to which either of contracting party is child. Contracting party means the spouses who are solemnizing the marriage. Contracting parties in relation to marriage means either of the parties whose marriage is or is about to be thereby solemnized. Minor means a person who has, as per the Majority Act 1875, is deemed to have attained his is not deemed to have attained his majority. Means who has not completed the age of majority, that is 18 years, which is prescribed in a Indian Penal Code and all the other acts also, apart from this Majority Act 1875. The definition of court is also given. The court, the term district court is used in this statute. It means area for which a family court is established under section 3 of Family Courts Act. Then such family court will be the court within meaning of this act. The area in which there is no family court, but there is a city civil court exists, in such area the city civil court will be the district court for purpose of this act. And in any other areas, the principal civil court of original jurisdiction, it means the district court. So section 3 of this statute provides that the child marriage, solemnization of child marriage is voidable voidable at the option of the contracting party or at the option of the child. Means the child who is contracting party in the marriage may file a petition for annulling the marriage by decree of the court. Certain conditions are imposed that such petition shall be presented within 2 years after attaining the majority by the child. Such petition may be filed by guardian or next friend of minor child. In past, while giving a decree, court may also order a return of gifts, ornaments, valuables, money received on occasion of such marriage. Apart from this, court may also make a provision for maintenance and residence of the child while making such order or while passing such decree. While granting decree under section 3, may also make an interim or final order directing the male contracting party to the child marriage. And in case the male contracting party to such marriage is minor, his parent or guardian to pay maintenance to the female contracting party to the marriage until her remarriage. So until her remarriage, the order can be sought from the court for maintenance of the child as well as for her residence. Such quantum of maintenance shall be determined by court having regard to the needs of the child, her lifestyle enjoyed by such child during her marriage, and means of income of the paying party. It means such maintenance may be a monthly payment or a lump sum amount. Apart from maintenance and residence, if there is any child begotten or conceived during such marriage and before passing of the decree by the court, then the court may decide the custody of this such child and may make an appropriate order for custody as well as for maintenance of the child. And paramount consideration while deciding such a issue would be the welfare and the best interest of the child. As well as it is also taken into consideration the access to the child by the other party. Such orders which are made under section 4 and 5 may be altered, modified or revoked considering the change in circumstances. For example, if maintenance order is made and subsequent to the decree, the child gets remarried, then in such situation, the order will be revoked, or in certain particular circumstances, it may be modified or altered. The important aspect is the legitimacy of the children of child marriage. The section 6 of this act specifically provides that notwithstanding that the child marriage has been annulled by decree of nullity under section 3, every child begotten or conceived of such marriage before a decree is made, whether born before or after commencement of this act, shall be deemed to be legitimate child for all purposes. So the child will be considered as a legitimate child for all the purposes. Jurisdiction. as we have discussed the meaning of court, which is prescribed in this statute, the place of jurisdiction, so far as place of jurisdiction is concerned, the court having jurisdiction over the place where the defendant or the child resides, or where the marriage was solemnized, or where parties last resided together, or the petition is residing on the date of presentation of the petition. So the petitioner can file her petition for annulment under section 3 of the statute, the act, at any of these places, the court situating at any of the aforesaid places. Void child marriage. Section 12 of the act provides that in certain conditions, the marriage will be void. As we have considered that this child marriage is voidable at the option of the contracting party or at the option of the child, but in certain circumstances it will be void, that is not having no value in the eyes of law, where a child being a minor, and three conditions are prescribed, that he is taken or enticed out of keeping of lawful guardian, by force compelled or by deceitful means induced to go from any place, or is sold for purpose of marriage and made to go through a form of marriage, or if a minor is sold or trafficked or used for immoral purposes, such marriage shall be null and void. So here the marriage will not be considered as voidable, but straightway it will be void and consider no marriage in the eyes of law. For proper implementation of any act or any statute, it is necessary to have some deterrence in the society, so that the people will follow the rules and laws, and therefore punishments are necessary. So in this statute, section 9 to 11 prescribes for certain offences and the punishment. Section 15 provides that the offence under this act are cognizable and non-bailable. Section 9 provides for offence of male adult marrying a child is punishable with rigorous imprisonment, which may extend to 2 years, or with fine, which may extend to 1 lakh rupees. And section 10 provides that whoever performs, conducts, directs, or abets any child marriage shall be liable for rigorous imprisonment, which may extend to 2 years, and shall liable for fine, which may extend to 1 lakh rupees. Here it is quite difference between the section 9 and 10 in punishment, that in section offense under section 9, 2 years imprisonment is provided, and or is mentioned, means either imprisonment or fine can be imposed. So far as section 10 is concerned, the imprisonment as well as fine is prescribed, means the wrongdoer, the offender, will be liable for imprisonment as well as fine, which may extend to 1 lakh rupees. Section 11 provides that where a child contracts a child marriage, any person having charge of the child, whether parent or guardian, any other person, any incapacity, lawful or unlawful, including any member of association or organization. Moreover, people who are attending the marriage will also be held liable for this offense, and shall be liable for imprisonment of 2 years, rigorous imprisonment of 2 years and fine, which may extend to 1 lakh rupees. Section 13 of the Act provides for injunction. Injunction order can be sought from the judicial magistrate first class under section 13. Who can seek? Child marriage prohibition officer, any person having personal knowledge or reason to believe that the child marriage is to be solemnized. Non-governmental organization having reasonable information relating to likelihood of child marriages. So any one of them can file a complaint before the judicial magistrate first class and sought injunction to prevent the solemnization of child marriage. When such complaint for injunction is made to the judicial magistrate first class, court shall not issue injunction unless prior notice to such person or member of organization or association of persons, as the case may be, and has offered him an opportunity to show cause against the issuance of injunction. So the injunction order will not be issued directly without giving a opportunity to the other side of being heard, that as to why the order should not be issued against them. However, in case of urgency, court shall have power to issue interim injunction without giving any such notice. If the injunction order is infringed, whoever knowingly disobeying the injunction order shall be liable for imprisonment of either description, which may extend to 2 years, or with fine which may extend to 1 lakh rupees, or with both. The proviso is appended this section that no woman shall be punishable with imprisonment. The child marriage, which is solemnized in contravention of the injunction order issued under section 13 of the Act, shall be void ab initio. It means void from the beginning. For discharging the duties and performing the functions to fulfill the object of this Act, the state government by notification in official gazette appoint child marriage prohibition officer. And for purpose of preventing solemnization of mass child marriages on the day of Akshaya Tritiya, the district magistrate shall have additional power to stop and prevent child marriages. He shall be deemed to be child marriage prohibition officer on that particular day of Akshaya Tritiya to exercise all the powers under this Act. So, friends, this is all the scheme of this statute. Thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a very delightful and knowledgeable session. We would now begin with the question and answer round now. So there is a question, sir, by one student, which says that in Muslim personal board, a girl can get married after the age of 15. So what implications would it have if the girl, after turning 18 years, says she was forced into the marriage?
See, this is the Act which is uniformly applicable to all sections of the society. It is not personal law. Therefore, if it is considered as a child marriage in purview of this act, then she will have all the remedies which are available. She may annul the marriage by decree of the court. She has to file a petition before the district court for annulment of the marriage, and the marriage will be, if it is if it is proved that the marriage is
Hello.
solemnized in contravention of the conditions of this act, then
Hello.
it will be annulled. Hello.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Ah,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Yes. Hello.
चलेगा चलेगा हाँ प्लीज बाद में फोन करता हूँ मैं आपको फोन करता हूँ ओके
Next question, Vishaka.
Yes, sir. So the next question is that, which is related to the last question only, that would only the groom and priest get into police remand if the girl, after completing the age of 18, put a case of POXO? Shouldn't the parents of the girl child be held equally punishable in such a situation?
So far as the POSCO is concerned, that is altogether a different statute. When we come to the aspect of child marriage only, this act plays its role. Therefore, the basic considerations for applicability of two different statutes which are on different footing. So far as present statute is concerned, if child marriage is solemnized and the bride and bridegroom both are not attained the minimum required age for the solemnization of marriage, then their parents, if as we have discussed that the parents, even not only parents, but the other who are in charge in any other capacity, they will also be held liable for performance of child marriage. Yes. Next question.
Yes, sir. So the next question is that in North India, basically in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, still child marriages are taken place, but after marriage, couple stays with their respective parents. So after attaining the certain age, they celebrate Gona function and the couple is allowed to stay together. Is this punishable under the eyes of law?
See, we have to the basic the object of enacting this statute is very much to bring about the equality before equal protection of law and equality before law, so far as the section woman and child all are concerned. The social norm and legal norm, people may not accept the law. Some practices are traditionally being done in various areas of our country. We have to carve those traditions as we, for example, Sati Pratha, the dowry prohibition. Though the dowry is punishable, it is offense. We see that in society, the people are not taking it as an offense. So the purpose of this act is to make some uniformity and to eradicate the evil practices. So in certain parts, if such kind of practice is going on, then it definitely it will be comes under this act as an offense, and the people, that is as we have discussed, that the child herself or the next friend, guardian, or the child marriage prohibition officer may file a complaint. Yes. Next question.
Yes, sir. So the next question is, why there is discrimination in the age of girl and boy? Is that for the 18 and 21 respectively?
The age, minimum age of girl and boy respectively is fixed after various researches, and on that basis the age is fixed. Apart from that, if it is a matter of in the considering the in context of our society, it is believed that the boy have to socially, economically that much capable to handle the family. Maybe in future that discrimination will also be eradicated. In as I stated earlier, that the law is a dynamic aspect. It keeps undergoing the changes. So it may in future get the equal age, minimum age for the marriage. Next question.
Yes, sir. Why is polyandry and polygamy not taken into cognizance suo moto by the courts?
Polygamy is an offense of bigamy. Bigamy, polygamy in Indian penal code is an offense, but there are certain restrictions, certain embargoes which are given in the code itself, which will prevent the court from taking cognizance of the polygamy or bigamy, because for taking cognizance, the complaint has to be filed by a particular person, that is the complainant must be the woman. Certain restrictions are given. Therefore, court is not so moto taking cognizance of bigamy or polygamy. Yes, next question.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you throw some light on the statistics of child marriage case till recent past and government actions to curb it? Is it under control or still it is increasing? Can you name such cities, states from where the cases are more?
I'm really very sorry, I don't have those statistics right now. But as we all know, and we often see in the news, that Rajasthan, Haryana, and certain parts of UP, so northern part of country, so we can say that the child marriage cases are more in number. But I don't have exact statistics.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, what is your advice with your vast experience and knowledge about how do we as lawyers bring a change in the rural society towards child marriage and such social legal issues?
The main, according to me, the main problem is awareness. There is no awareness in the rural part of the country, and therefore we have to face these problems of child marriage. Because child marriage only is not problem. There are different problems altogether which resulted in discrimination, more particularly to the girl, woman, and it will deprive them from socially, economic justice, equality, opportunities. Since from their birth we have to, it is our misfortune that we have to, we have need of these kind of laws. We have to protect since from her birth, even before her birth. So the awareness is a solution, and as a law student, you are well versed with the law, legal field. You know the what exactly the law is. So the legal awareness camps, if organized frequently in rural areas, then it will definitely benefit. Yes, next question.
Yes, sir. If there is a child from the marriage and the marriage is annulled, will the child be legitimate, and with whom will the child would stay then?
There is no doubt that the child will be considered as legitimate child for all the purposes in all respects. So there is no doubt in that. So far as the custody of child is concerned, the court will decide the custody of the such child, with whom he will reside, who will maintain him, who will provide all the other facilities to him. So the court has to decide all those issues, and while deciding so, the court has to give or consider the welfare of the child, and the paramount consideration is his best interest. Yes, next question.
Yes, sir. A student has a question regarding the justice and the registration of marriage before getting married or once dispute comes up.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
A student has a question regarding the justice and the registration of marriage before getting married or once the dispute comes up. Regarding the registration of marriage, sir.
Registration of marriage. Registration of marriage is in what context? The question is, I don't understand that because it is not in respect of the present statute. But so far as registration of marriage is concerned, there are two types of registration. Before as we have seen, the Special Marriage Act, under Special Marriage Act, registered marriage is performed. For that purpose, there is a procedure that 1 month prior notice is given, registrar intimation is given. Thereafter, after 1 month, the registered marriage will be performed. And second thing, after solemnization of marriage, you may, the local bodies, you may file such application and affidavit that we have got married on so and so date, solemnize the marriage, and then we get registration done and they will issue such certificates. Yes, next question.
Yes, sir.
Vishaka, just 1 minute, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yogesh Ingwe, you have commented question regarding the question itself is not clear. I would like to ask all the students to put your question in the question format. We could not understand what you want to ask. Do you want explanation? Do you want any specific case? We couldn't understand. So please put your questions in a question format. Thank you.
So can we take the next question?
Yes.
Yes,
Continue.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, what is the status of child in case of order under section 12?
I think I have just answered this question. The status will be, he will be considered as a legitimate child in all respects.
Yes, sir. Sir, only the next question is, does only having Child Marriage Act is sufficient to come out of the problem of the child marriage?
No, certainly. There are, look, this act is on particular subject of marriage. There are several other statutes are there which are on other, which are addressing other issues. Child labor is there, domestic violence is there, plenty of statutes are there which are enacted only for purpose of protecting the particular section of the society. Present statute is on subject of marriage only, and that too on minimum age of the marriage. It is does not say anything about other issues. Yes, next question.
Sir, in Juvenile Justice Act, age of a juvenile is below 18 years, whereas in this case it is below 21 years. Why so? For the boys.
Again, it is it depends upon the context in which the statute is enacted. The subjects are totally different. In Juvenile Justice Act, the act is saying act is providing the law for particularly to the juveniles who are in conflict with law or the child in need and care and protection. So according to the context, their age is determined. Age is considered. The stage of their age is considered. So, yes, next question.
Yes, sir. Recently, in one case, the Honorable Court has given decision that minor parents can live together for the benefit of their child. If you know this case, can you please explain in which circumstances the Honorable Court gave this decision?
No, I am sorry. I have not came across with that case. So without having gone through the judgment, I can't make any statement on that basis.
Okay, sir.
Next question.
Yes, sir. Yes. So we have this much questions. I request students to please ask their questions if they have any, or type in the chat box. Yes, sir. So the marriage is void before 18 years of age of girl, but if she attains the age of 19 years during case proceedings in court, can it be considered as valid, or what can be the solution?
marriage solemnized by the child or child marriage is not void, it is voidable, and it is voidable at the option of the contracting party. Therefore, the marriage will be either she may take decision to accept the marriage or it may be declared as a void. It is the choice is given to the child itself. If during a proceeding she attains the age of 19 years